In this video, we're going to talk about grade setup. One of the most important things you can do in Schoology when you first start is set up your grade book. Now, keep in mind that in our school, we do not use the Schoology grade book. We use Progressbook to enter grades. That doesn't mean grade setup isn't important. We actually have it integrated so that Schoology, when you create an assignment and you assign it a category, for instance, like homework, you can actually click a button that will sync the grades when Schoology auto grades it right to Progressbook for you, so you don't have to enter anything into Progressbook. It will automatically be done and save you time. Now that feature does not work if you don't set up your gradebook. So let's take a second and show you how to do this. On the left hand side of your course, once you're inside of a course, you're going to go to grade setup. By default, most of these settings are the way you want them to be right out of the box. Okay, we have done all the work for you. So if you look here, the grading periods, you should see when you begin the year the grading periods listed here. So you'll see the year, and then below it you'll see the first, second, third, fourth, 9 weeks, and the weighting's already done. You don't need to adjust anything. If you come in and this is not here, contact the IT department. We need to know that so that we can make sure it is set up and running. Below that, you have the grading scale. By default, it will select numeric. You can click on these and actually see what they are, but I will tell you that we don't really use it. Again, Progressbook is our grades, so this doesn't matter. Leave it in numeric. Don't adjust any of these settings. Same thing down here with rounding grades and showing total points or hiding things. We don't need to mess with any of this because the grade book here really isn't utilized. The only thing we utilize out of here is categories so that we can sync the assignments to Progressbook. So that's what I want to show you how to do real quick. At the very top, you'll see categories listed. Now, these categories are required by Schoology, okay, so that assignments can be graded. By default, they'll go to an ungraded category. And that means that when an assignment or a test is submitted, it's not going to put any grades in. And there's times when that is a good thing and you want to do that. But most of the time, if you're given a test or a quiz, you do want it graded. Schoology can auto do the grading for you to save you time, but only if this is set up. So this is how we set it up. If you go over to the Add button and click on it, it's going to ask you to fill out some information. Category name. This is what type of homework assignment you're grading or what type of category of assignment you're grading. So for instance, homework. It's going to ask you if you want to calculate it by total points or percents. Now this is up to you. I strongly recommend that everything is done in points. Now again, keep in mind that this is going to Progressbook eventually. So it's going to take the total points. 49 out of 50, and it's going to calculate that percentage in Progressbook when you're done. So it's not really important to switch to percents now. If you want to, you can. I don't recommend it. I would say leave it on total points. Once you're done, go ahead and click Create. You're going to replicate this exact same scenario until you have all of your categories created. So let's do a few. Let's add another one, and this one we'll do tests. And then we'll add another one. We'll do quizzes because I want to separate those two out. Keep in mind, I'm not changing this here, and I'm not worried about dropping the lowest score. All that takes place in Progressbook. Now add another one here, and we'll call it projects. Right, so I've got 4 categories selected. Now, these categories need to match what you have in Progressbook. So, if I have homework, project, quizzes, and tests here, I need to create the exact same ones in Progressbook and vice versa. You can always come back and add these later, but let me warn you, adding these at a later date can cause issues. 1, because they have to be in both places. 2, in the middle of the grading period, it has to kind of recalculate things, so it can throw you off. So if you have to do that, please let the IT department know. But it's best practice to actually set all these up the way you want them at the beginning of the year so you don't have to change them. Once you have all your categories set up, make sure you go down to the bottom and save the changes. If you forget to do this, your categories won't stay in here and you'll have to repeat this process. So at the top it says your changes have been saved, and notice again we're in training course 1. If I was to come over here, and in the previous lesson I showed you that this blue book is a quick way to jump between your courses, and I jump to another one of my classes, notice I have no category set up. That means I need to go in and set up these categories in every class, or else they will not have graded assignments. Okay, I cannot sync it with Progressbook if that is not set up. So that needs to be done. Well, the nice part is this is very easy if you use the same categories for all your classes. If we jump back to our previous course and we see our categories are set up, we can just go up to the top right and click Copy Settings. This allows us to copy everything that we have set up to our other courses. And again, I only have one because it's a training course. And I click Copy. Once I do that, it'll say they've been copied. I can then jump over to that course and see, sure enough, all of my categories are in here. That means I'm set up. Now that I've verified that all of my courses have a grade setup done, I'm ready to start creating material for my class and letting Schoology do the bulk of the work. Okay, so again, this is grade setup. This is extremely important. You must do this first thing every year. Make sure these are set up. If you don't do this, you could have issues. So please remember, this needs set up. Make sure it's set up every year. In the next video, I'm going to cover resources. I need to do that because there's a couple topics in there that we need to hit before we cover materials. So I will see you in the next video to cover resources.